Welcome to the GAB Talks by the Independent Press Award. I'm your hostess, Gabby Olzak. To sign up for a podcast, visit independentpressaward.com/podcast. To participate in the 2024 Book Award competitions, please visit independentpressaward.com and NewYorkCityBigBookAward.com. Find our magazine in any local library on Overdrive via Libby app, 32 global newsstand apps, or at a special event. So we are so pleased to welcome for the second time Tony Selimi, best-selling award-winning author of A Path to Excellence, winner of the 2023 New York City Big Book Award for Personal Growth. Tony is an international leader in personal development, business coach, filmmaker, and life strategist, specializing in human behavior, wealth building, and leadership excellence. He is a graduate of the University College London and founder of TJS Cognition, a company dedicated to exploring, expanding, and evolving the frontiers of human awareness and potential. Tony has been featured in hundreds of articles, invited onto talk shows, delivered a TEDx talk with over 1 million views, and spoken at conferences, private functions, companies, universities worldwide. Tony is the author of A Path to Wisdom, #Loneliness, and the Unfakeable Code. He's also the creator of the multi-award-winning coaching documentary, Living My Illusion, and the documentary film series, Into Your Divinity. Tony educates and inspires people all over the world. He joins us today from Turkey. Wow, that was a mouthful. Congratulations, Tony. And once again, welcome to the GAB Talks.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Really, it's a privilege, Tony. So you've said magic happens when excellence becomes the default lens through which you observe the obstacles that life presents you. Simplify that for our listeners.
Firstly, the daily distractions and all the uncertainty we experience, the problems, the mental problems, emotional, financial issues, everything that's going on globally, actually pollutes our true being, our true essence. We then become very emotional, we become resentful, we become angry, we become depressed, we become anxious, we become stressed. And the way then we observe the world comes through those lenses. Now, when we go on this inside-out cleansing journey and changing our perception in the way in which we observe reality, life shows us the greatest miracles. We find joy in so many things around us, but also our vibration, our energy tends to be elevated. And from that vibration, we tend to attract a whole new world into our lives.
So, Tony, your latest book, A Path to Excellence, is a blend of scientific and spiritual teachings. What was your goal when you wrote the book?
My goal was to bring this amalgamation of spiritual knowledge and material scientific knowledge. So being able to help people combine those two worlds so they can actually make the most of their true being, their true essence. Because there are so many people who are actually craving spirituality. But on the other hand, many people actually deny spirituality because they are grounded in science, in proof. And therefore, they're not able to really make the best of those two worlds. And for me, it's being able to satisfy the hunger in people for growth, for unleashing their true potential, for being able to overcome their daily challenges and being able to put themselves on a path that their true spirit wants them to be on.
In fact, Tony, you actually believe that we're all destined for excellence, each and every one of us. So why do most of us fall short? We only see a very select few people who we would all consider to be excellent. Why does this happen?
It happens because if we look at the world in which we live in, environment shapes who we become. That is one part of it. But also the other part is understanding our true essence. Now, if we are living in an environment which you haven't been nurtured properly, just like a flower, if you take an exotic flower and you put it in Antarctica, it's going to die. Similarly, with us as humans, if we are put in an environment which there's no encouragement, there's no education, there's no nurturing in a way that we can really excel, you tend to be stopping yourself from fears, from doubts, from judgments, from what other people may say you, or not even have the awareness of what's possible for you as an individual. Now, if we take the same individual and we put it in an environment where education is provided, training is provided, a new awareness comes there, wisdom, knowledge, skills, and building the things that really push you on this personal path to excellence, miracle happens. So for me, I believe that same light, the same intelligence that runs through every cell in our body, the same intelligence that builds the entire human being, also is the intelligence that we need to awaken ourselves to and learn more about it. So therefore, each individual has the ability and the potential to be great, to be on a path to excellence. And nowadays, with technology, with knowledge, with so many teachers out there, with books, with films, with documentaries, social media, we can actually put ourselves on a path towards excellence. And when we do that, our life truly changes.
So, Tony, before we get into the methodology that you outline in your book, I want to talk about the big why. What is the big why, and how could it help us achieve the impossible in our lives?
The big why is, if we're looking what's happening globally right now, our planet is our only home. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but for now, we are destroying the planet. We are going into war with one another. There's nothing conscious about humanity right now when we actually end up killing one another, when we end up to really create illnesses and separation and division and judgments and turn people against each other. So the big why is, I believe with all of my heart, through greater collaboration, through shared values, through love, we can achieve so much more together in the world and still respect our individuality, our differences, our cultures, our nationalities, and be able to harmonize in the way we actually develop the next generation of leaders, in a way that we can grow businesses which are more environmentally friendly, in the way we can protect the future of the next generation and the children to be born.
You said that love is the most important thing that you can focus on. Tell us about that personally and philosophically.
We all know when we truly love somebody, even if they passed away, we have this undeniable love that transcends time and space. Meaning, even if we don't see the person, we have tremendous love for them. So for me, love is the highest vibration of, if we put together all that is into one, that's what love represents. And when we're not in touch with that part of ourselves, there's no way we can actually be great with thy neighbor. There's no way we can be better in our schools, be better as parents, be better as leaders, be better as business owners. So for me, when we plug love into what we do, truly magic happens. You know, nobody likes somebody who's angry, who's resentful, who's judgmental, and who pretty much puts other people down, or, you know, forces you into doing things that your true being rejects. However, on the other side, when we have people who have opened their heart to love, no matter what the circumstances are, we tend to take some time before we respond to a challenge, because it's so easy to respond emotionally to something that challenges our values. But when we remind ourselves that whoever we are dealing with they're also being of love and being of life. They also have their individuality, their belief system, their values, and we respect each other at that level. It's incredible the kind of harmony we can create. It's incredible the kind of dialogue we can create. It's incredible how that transforms our entire physiology, and healing can happen. So healing cannot happen in a human body when we are extremely polarized. But when the minds comes together into equanimity, when our perceptions tend to be equilibrated and balanced about the things that we observe outside of ourselves, and in comparison to the way we feel in our inner world, we truly start to raise our being and become more and more conscious in the way we respond to life and respond to challenges, respond to people, respond to adversity, respond to uncertainty.
So Tony, you have said that self-love is the best medicine. That is so true. The Octagon of Excellence methodology is the blueprint to achieving your greatest potential. Explain to us what that is, and why eight? Why 8 principles?
I've always been a student of life, which means I love studying both science and spirituality, comparative religions, biology, cosmology, and always had an interest about demystifying the secrets of life. So throughout history, the number 8 has been used in buildings, in architecture. Also, from a religious perspective, you have the octagon in many buildings embedded. But the octagon represents eternal life. And also number 8 represents that. So therefore, also if we turn the number 8 slightly, you will see the infinity sign in there. Now, the 8 kind of areas that I put together in Octagon of Excellence are stages of life that we all go through. Life itself goes through that. So if we look in nature, we will observe the same stages that we as individuals go through it. For instance, if we look at the first part, which is transition. Now, if we just look at, for instance, a plant will go through many transitions through the different stages within a year. Similarly, in every moment in our life, our entire body, internal body goes through various transitions. But also, let's say we lose a job and we find a new job. Even through that period, we go through a transition. Let's say, you are a pregnant mother and suddenly you deliver a baby. You're going through a massive transition from not knowing anything about being a parent to actually learning and growing with your child as a parent. So the first part is about truly understanding how to better navigate the transitional cycles that we experience in life. For instance, if we look at men going through midlife crisis, or if we look at women through menopause, or if we look when a student goes from high school into university, there will be transitional periods. And it's usually through those transitional periods that we can experience anxiety, experience stress, doubts, fears. And Octagon of Excellence shows you exactly what you can do through those transitional cycles. The next part about the Octagon of Excellence is about understanding that when something really difficult happens to us, it happens for the purpose of growth, for the purpose of rebirth. And we tend to really experience this rebirth within thyself. But also, not just that, we can actually bring a whole new identity out. When we let go of old personas and we give birth to authentic individual within us, we experience this immense freedom at who we are and what we're here to do. Now, if we go in life without having a plan, without having a strategy, without having a focus, we're not going to get anywhere. Just like, for instance, if we take an airplane and if we take the pilot needs to focus where he's taking the airplane. Similarly, each one of us, we need to have a focus, and where the focus is It's where our intentions, where our energy gets maximized. And in order for us to really achieve excellence, we need to have this laser sharp focus about the goals, about the things we need to achieve. The next part of the octagon excellence is understanding the regeneration process. Our entire physiology, our entire body goes through that regeneration process. Similarly, anything in our life goes through that regeneration. And how do you handle those? It's what the octagon of excellence, the 8 principles, can help people do. Now, I've seen through almost 30,000 of coaching and training hours how many people lose that balance, that work-life balance. Not just the work-life balance, but the balance within thyself. Any illness that we experience is because somewhere down the line within our life, we actually came out of that natural inner state of balance. We did not listen to that inner alarm that I talk about in my first book, A Path to Wisdom. And therefore, we numb those alarms and we don't tend to act or react on the things that we need to take action on. And when we do that, we literally come out of a natural inner state of balance. But also, if we don't have the right balance with our the rest of the critical areas of our life, if we don't grow spiritually, if we don't grow mentally, or if we give more focus on our work, the rest of those areas become out of balance and we suffer as a result. So it takes you through the process of how to maintain that balance as you go through those transitional cycles of life. So therefore, your entire being is at the optimum health, optimal energy, but also when you go to work, you're an inspired leader. When you work with your children, you are very inspired to actually grow your children, or as an educator, or whatever your profession may be. Now, we are all here, both masters and servers. Now, when you really get this, you know that no matter what you do, you are of service to somebody. Now, the problem is most people don't know what that service is or how to articulate or communicate their service in a way that adds value to other people. So one of the processes within the octagon of excellence, as you embark yourself on whatever personal excellence means to you, because you could be wanting to be the top athlete in the world, you could be winning the next AGT competition, or you maybe just wanted to have a farm for animals and take care of the animals and you become the best of it. No matter what you decide, it's about how to grow that service and how to align your true being, your values with your beliefs, and in the way you communicate to the world and how you align yourself with universal laws to be able to impact the most significant amount of people and put you on that map in which excellence becomes the drive through which you can continually do the work, but also inspire others in that process to really embark on excellence journey. Now, with the segregation we see globally, with the wars, with everything that's happening, it's this blindness to how unified we are as beings. You know, most people, if you ask them around the world, no matter what the religion, they will believe in God, or some would say universe, or grand design, or some intelligence out there. However, if we really take that we are a spark of that intelligence, spark of that God particle within us, then surely it makes sense for us to unify ourselves and be what we are, which is the same spark that comes from the same God that we all believe in. So being able to unify your inner being, your thoughts and beliefs and your values, and awaken a greater purpose, awaken something that goes beyond oneself, it's what really puts you on that path to excellence. And the last part is the part where how do you grow through those infinite cycles that we get through life? Sometimes people think like the moment you achieve something and you've done. No, the moment you do something, life will present you with another challenge. So the more you learn to grow, the challenges will grow at the same time. And it gives you this unique pathway to be able to take bigger challenges as you grow into your path to personal excellence, being more mindful, and also being able to hold the energy that we all have as you progress on your path to excellence, as you go into your path, into your true divinity, where with your love and love of wisdom and love of service, you can impact as many people as you can.
Tony, for our listeners, as you said, the octagon is a blueprint. How do we get started? It's a lot to really swallow at once. If you're looking at the 8 principles, which one would you consider the most critical principle to apply? And can we start from principle number 4, or do we have to follow it in a specific order? I think that's an important question that our listeners are all probably thinking about.
An excellent question. The way Octagon of Excellence is designed is for you to start where you are in your life currently.
Okay.
For it, if you're saying, I want to start at principle number 4, you can start there. But sometimes people may have, for instance, mental confusion, and they don't have the clarity of thought of what is it that they want to achieve. So then they can go into principle number 1, which is adios mental confusion, the source of unavoidable headache. Now, daily we get so many headaches about so many different things. So if you are there and you're trying to do something bigger, it's best to start there, start clarifying and creating that mental clarity before you move on to another principle. But the way they're designed in a way for you to start exactly where you are right now in your life. And usually your heart would resonate with one of those principles. And as you go through that principle, it might take you to another principle naturally as you go through the process.
Okay, that's perfect. I think that's what we were all wondering. So who is Tony Selimi? Not all of us are privy to your story. For our listeners who are not aware of your journey, Tony, you overcame abuse, bullying, civil war, critical illness, and homelessness. What would you consider to be the most pivotal points in your journey that changed everything for you and led you to your path of excellence?
Those are just some of the adversities that I experienced. And I believe being in the Civil War and as a teenager and observing atrocities that no child or teenager or human being for that fact should experience, it was that changing moment. Firstly, I had no idea that I will ever survive. And I was living second by second, not minutes, second by second, because you had so many bullets on all directions that I never knew whether I'm going to see my parents again, for instance. I never knew that I'm going to have another breath. I never knew I'm going to have another day. And it also made me question God, made me question life, made me question why this is happening to me, why this is happening to people I grew up with, why is it happening globally in the world. And there was this inner voice that kept me going every single day. And I knew back then that one day I want to go out there, inspire people. I want to go out there and awaken people to their true essence, to their true divinity. I wanted to teach people how to love one another, how to heal their body and mind. Because a person who's at war with another is a person who's at war with themselves. And I truly wanted to use everything I've experienced to be of service so more people can benefit, but also reduce the pain, the suffering, the problems we experience globally. Even in today's world, we have a war. We have a war in Ukraine. We have other wars. Recently, we just have another spark in Israel. I mean, what is it happening to the human psyche to be able to go at war with one another? And this is something, this big why inside of me has been since I was a kid. because in the country I was born, in North Macedonia, back then Yugoslavia, there was this inequality amongst races. So as an Albanian, where majority of people in government are Macedonian, you were treated like you are nobody, that you had no matter how hard you work, you weren't given the opportunities for you to shine. And even as a kid, I used to tell my parents, who were restaurateurs, that it's injustice for you to separate and divide people according to their color, according to their religion, according to their background and ethnicity. And I was almost like wanted to know God, wanted to know what is it my role in this world for me to heal people. So this calling to heal people and bring inner peace and bring peace around the world, around families, around individuals who may be at war with each other, is also what inspired me to study a lot and become one of the best students in maths, in science, technology, and then later on at University College of London, doing engineering with organizational behavior and management. So throughout my life, it's been this voice inside of me to make humanity better.
Well, Tony, we all know that we never get through this journey of life alone. Who was your role model? Who inspired you to hear that voice? Because we can't all hear that. Who inspired you to overcome that desire to quit?
Firstly, I would say every human being who was in my life and all of my teachers, all of my educators. But first and foremost is my mom and dad. I'm internally grateful to have had mom and dad in my life as my heroes, because their main mission was to educate me and my other siblings, because they came from a hardworking family. They were in a arranged marriage. They learned to love each other, and they built businesses that helped significant amount of people. They loved feeding people. So therefore, they became restaurateurs and farmers. So living in a farm with my parents, my grandparents, I saw that kind of nurturing and love and the kind of values that exemplify human potential, exemplify excellence, and also being able to deal with adversity in a kind way, which is something very different to what I've experienced and what I've seen other people do. When they are extremely challenged, they become animals. On the other hand, I saw mom and dad nurturing people and loving people regardless how they treated mom and dad. So they remained in their equilibrium no matter what the storm was in their life and no matter what people were doing it. They truly believed in spirituality. They truly believed in God. They truly believed in service. They truly believed in the power of love.
Amazing story and amazing family. In fact, you do a tremendous amount of coaching. Fortune 500 CEOs, authors, entrepreneurs, scientists, politicians, so many more. And you coach them on overcoming fears, overcoming all different obstacles in their life. What is the most common issue you're asked to address during these coaching sessions? What have you seen throughout the years?
Well, I've just been delivering 3 different trainings in Turkey, which is my high-end program for CEOs, for politicians, leaders, celebrities, business owners, entrepreneurs, professional scientists. And each client was very, very different. But the underlying thing is they all wanted more from themselves, from life, and what they want to do in the world. So deep down, all of my clients are called to do so much more than what they're doing right now. And the challenges they're experiencing, the common ground around them, it's a head full of noise, meaning not having that kind of detailed clarity, a detailed plan, and a detailed strategy that really gets them to where they truly want to be. And majority of them, they're not even aware the kind of vision, purpose they can build. Meaning their vision is so small in comparison to what happens a year, 2 year, 3 year down the line when we work together very intensively. most of my clients will tell you that vital planning is like you having a PhD in 5 days. This is where miracles truly happen, where your mind totally opens up and awakens to its own greatness of how much more one individual can achieve. Because most people are fearful about not what they're not doing. They're fearful of what's possible for them. And they don't have that kind of step-by-step process in which they can clarify what they want spiritually, what they want mentally, emotionally, physically, in their relationship, in their professional career, in business, financially, socially, and the impact they want to make in the world. A lot of people have a lot of fantasies, but they don't have that groundedness of the energy that it's required for you to truly make a big difference in the world and also transform yourself in the process.
What's the number one step that we can take to get started?
I always start with the first one. What is it that you truly value? What are your true, authentic values? Because values are like a program for a computer. Same are for our mind. Now, as we grow, every experience, we inject other people's values. We see something online, we want it. We see something on billboard, we want it. We see somebody successful, we want that. We see a better school, we want that. We see a better clothes, we want that. We see a better car, we want that. But that's all the things that are injected. And most people don't really have clarity. What are their injected values and what are their authentic values? So the first process I recommend to everybody, go through a value determination process. And it's something that there's a lot of tools out there, but they can go through my questioning within the book to be able to determine what is their values. And then when you have that clarity of your authentic values outside of whatever has told you or whatever you've injected, then you can actually align your actions, your behaviors, and your beliefs to be able to achieve what your true values are asking of you.
So block out the noise and really listen to our inner voice and our big why.
And our big why, our inner voice, and also clarify what that is. Because sometimes that inner voice may be clouded from other people's voices. So be very careful that that voice is not an emotional voice, because the true intuition is very different to the inner voice that we listen through our emotions. True intuition is transcendental when the body, mind, heart, and soul are in alignment. That's where you get the true intuition, that true voice. So if you're going to listen to your voice, make sure it's that voice, not the voice of your expectations or of your injected values or of the noise that happens within the body.
In fact, Tony, you do recommend meditation to your readers, to your listeners, to your clients. What's the power of meditation?
It's an incredible power. Firstly and foremostly, if we cannot listen to our being inside of us, that's a first sign, first alarm that we haven't spent time to really, truly listen what's happening in our body. Now, meditation has a healing power. Not only that, but also it has a reflective power where it makes you truly reflect what's happening inside of you, what you need to change. But also, it benefits to calm your mind. You know, a calmer mind is very different to a mind full of noise. And also when you are stressed, for instance, it can reduce stress levels significantly. It can drop down anxiety, for instance. Also, it can help people with depression or any form of addictions. So meditation has multiple effects on the body, mind, and soul.
Tony, A Path to Excellence is your fourth book. We did speak in a previous interview about your third book, which was The Unfakeable Code. Your second book, #Loneliness, and the fourth one, A Path to Excellence. What inspired you to write your very first book, A Path to Wisdom?
Path to Wisdom was born out of 3 decades of overcoming so many challenges and learning so many things that I wanted to integrate and help people in business and also professional people out there to make a bigger difference. Because we tend to focus so much on work that we truly lose ourselves. Now, in 2008, during the major financial crisis, I was in a technology job that I truly loved, and took me 10 years to build the team and delivered multi-million technology transformation programs. Now, I also experienced loss during that time, which one of my clients back then, he actually worked for one of the banks that went down, and he committed suicide. And it was this awakening within me that I said, if I continue on this very fast track of living my life and working so many long hours, that I will end up the same. But then I observed what was happening globally, how people became, especially people who lost their job, they became redundant, including myself, how we rely on a paycheck and our self-worth diminishes the moment we don't have money to do something. And how we become, addicted to the power of money. And if we don't have money, we don't feel good about ourselves. And many people end up in depression as a result. Now, I wanted to empower people to be able to find that inner balance and find that inner peace and being able to live a healthy life. I wanted to combine 3 decades of spiritual knowledge. I wanted to combine 3 decades of science, technology. I did so many different personal development courses, as well as many healing techniques. I learned from some of the best healers around the world. And there was this disjointment of 2 worlds that we all part of, and it's integral part of our life. So I wanted to create a methodology that helps people go on this self-reflective, self-learning, self-growth, self-worthiness journey in order for them to truly master their life and being able to find their own wisdom within the experiences that perceived as it crushes them. So I sat down in meditation for 12 weeks. I asked God, universe, I said, okay, I have all of this knowledge and there's no point in me accumulating so much if I'm not going to share it with the world. Can you please guide me into what I'm to do with this? So during this meditation, I was in Brazil, in fact. I saw my father who passed away. I saw Christ. I saw Mother Mary. I saw all this enlightening being around me in a circle. And they also showed me an alarm clock. And it was the same alarm clock and the same phone that my parents had in the restaurants in Bosnia where they had restaurants. And the phone picked up, and it was almost like as if my dad was speaking to some of those prophets and asking about who's my son, what is his mission. And this is where I heard the voice, a call for love. He is a call for love. And I woke up from that meditation and I wrote down a call for love. And I said, this is what humanity is calling me to do, to awaken them to their own call for love. So that's how the methodology and the book started. What is it that we need to do in order for us to listen to that call for love? And that call for love is every time we have adversity, every time the body is stressed, every time the body is ill, every time we take a pill, every time we judge somebody or whatever we do that is not love, it's your soul is asking you to listen to that call for love. So first I wrote a song. From the song, I started creating the chapters, and I went into bridging together a holistic approach from the Eastern world methodologies and the scientific approach and psychology from Western world. And I said, I'm going to create something that really, really brings people in being able to listen to who they are and what's going on in their internal reality, into their external reality, and using the 5-step pillar to exemplify who they are, and also being able to heal their bodies, their physical body, their mental body, their emotional body, and start really opening themselves to the potential that exists within, which is almost like sleeping, awaiting for you to call it.
Tony, you are inspiring, and you've provided us with the tools that we need, and you've empowered us to live and think in a more productive, meaningful, healthy way. What else are you working on? We need more from you.
I've just finished the first draft of my upcoming book called
Oh my goodness.
Climb Greater Heights.
Wow.
And
Okay.
this was inspired through the last 5 years' work that I've worked with so many people who I've helped to transition from 9-to-5 jobs into building very successful businesses, but also business owners that I help them grow to 7, 8, 9-figure businesses. And this book is specifically for professional people who want to transition into creating a very heart-centered, aligned business, but also business people and entrepreneurs who already have a business and they want to take it globally and serve significant amount of people. Now, in here, I've created a whole new methodology, which has been tested for the last 5 years with all of my clients, and how to help people build their authority, build their credibility, create their products, write their books, being able to publish their work, and also create a vision beyond oneself, which is very philanthropic vision, and how to really take them through those 12-step process to create a purposeful business that also, which is very prosperous and very philanthropic.
That's incredible. When do you expect the published date to be?
It would be spring 2024. That's where I'm publishing. And also I'm writing 2 other books in meantime. And the other one is about awakening your inner genius and how to communicate like a genius.
Oh, I like that one. And who was the audience for that?
Audience for this is people, men and women between age 20 to 55, who really want to take their life to a whole new level, because communication is a key in everything that we do. You can open so many doors when you're able to communicate eloquently, but also understanding the communication that happens within ourselves and every time we meet somebody. I touch a little on this in the Unfakeable Code when it comes to listening through other people's values. This is a skill to master, which can really elevate you to the, I would say, to the 1% of the people in the world. And if you look at the top 10% of the people in the world, their communication is top-notch. And they truly know how to bring into reality
Tony, how do we improve, how do we start to improve our communication skills?
Firstly, by understanding how we communicate with ourselves. Do we truly listen when our body is telling us something is wrong with us? Do we truly listen what our emotions are telling us about us? Are we truly listening to the thoughts that are going on every single day? And what is it those thoughts are telling us about us? And then we also have our values and our beliefs. Sometimes we think that we are this rigid being that whatever value or belief we've had, it doesn't grow. Unfortunately, that's not the reality. Life is designed to change, and the only constant in life is change. So the greater communication you start with yourself, the more you become aware how to communicate with other people. But also, the key word in there is listen. And in that listening within, we can also listen without, because sometimes people can communicate to you, but nobody is listening. And the question is then, why? And usually it's because the way we communicate, the person who hears that communication is translating into their own reality, into their own value system, into their own beliefs, and into their own, I would say, hierarchy of values. So firstly, start listening the communication that happens within.
Tony, share your life mantra with us.
I have many life mantras.
I'm sure you do. What is your number one that comes to mind when I ask that question?
I am love, you are love, together we are love.
I am love.
You are love.
Love. And together we
Together,
are love.
we are love.
Wonderful. Really wonderful. Tony, how can our listeners find out more about you? Because there's so much to learn and so much you can teach us, and purchase Path to Excellence, Path to Wisdom, #loneliness, and the Unfakeable Code.
Firstly, they can Google me. Once they Google my name, Tony J. Selimi, they'll find a lot of information. Secondly, they can go to my website, tonyselimi.com, and you can have all of my links of social media, so they can connect to my social media, they can subscribe, and then, of course, they can go and start reading the books. They can get them on Amazon, they can get them on Audible, they can get them on Kindle. They can go to my website, on my shop, on my website, they can download my meditation solutions. And also I give a lot of free resources. And daily I share on social media things that help people on their personal growth journey. So do follow me, do comment, do engage, do ask questions. And the latest thing that I'm working right now, it's a unique Udemy course, which I'm launching in a month's time, which is overcoming resistance to change.
Oh, I like that one. And we will all really look forward to your pub date in 2024, the spring, of Climb Greater Heights. That sounds like it is going to be a really fantastic book. And the second book that you're working on, is it entitled Awakening, or are you working on that?
Awakening Your Inner Genius. I haven't decided on the former title.
But Awakening Your Inner Genius.
Yes, truly being able to take your existing mind and being able to awaken this Aladdin within you, and the genie and the Aladdin within you. So you can really communicate like a genius and become the next Einstein, for instance, the next Nikola Tesla, the next inventor, or whoever you want to be.
Incredible. Tony, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey and your wisdom with us. To listen to Tony's first interview about the Unfakeable Code, visit independentpressaward.com/the GAB Talks. Join us next time when we chat with Elaine Bappis, co-author of Walter of Salt Lake City, about acclaimed chef and restaurateur Walter Messi. This is your hostess, Gabby Olzak of the GAB Talks. Until our next podcast, keep on reading. Thank you.